Hello, everyone. Um, Dr. T here with Coach Ed, coming to you to give you, in my opinion, something very, very important. I'm going to take my time, but I'm not going to take too much time. First of all, let me just thank those of you that have visited and watched and viewed my tapes. It gives me some pleasure knowing that I am really imparting some worthwhile information, and I hope you feel the same. Um, I'm still working on my channel to introduce or bring in some features that can help you. So be patient with me, but thank you so much for those of you that have taken the time. Hopefully, you're finding this information good information. I'm always on the computer finding good stuff to bring to you guys. And today, I think I'm bringing something very, very important, and it's very serious. So please take it seriously enough, not to discredit the counselors. And I understand years ago there was, a high school or counselor shortage. And I'm mainly focusing on the counselors in the 9 through 12 grade levels, especially those that are dealing with students who are about to graduate. I know the graduation is an exciting time, and by now you're preparing for that moment. We are what? It's April. We're 2 or 3 months away from that wonderful day when you all gather and see the accomplishments of 12 years of education, on the public or private level. However, you chose to give this opportunity to your child. It is a grand moment for everybody involved. Parents, to see your child walk across that stage, get their diploma, with a promising future ahead, whether they're going to be an entrepreneur and start a business, if they're going to go to a tech school, and which is gaining a lot of popularity, which is good to see, or they're going to a four-year institution or university of their choice. Whatever the choice is going to be a very exciting moment, minute, second, because it takes seconds to walk across that stage, get the diploma, and celebrate. So plan those parties, have fun, prepare for that moment when you pack the car and go near or far to an institution or college of your choice with a promise, a hope, a prayer that for the next 4 years they're going to be good young people. They're going to learn a lot, and they're going to prepare themselves for their future, in whatever field they've chosen. But first, there's something I need to tell you about, alert you about, inform you of. I think I may have mentioned it before that this was coming, or at least I was going to talk about it. And the issue is this: it's called FERPA. And let me read it to you exactly. It gives a brief description, and I'm going to go into some key points of it, and then some common FERPA considerations that you, as a parent, should know, and the student, as they embark on going to a college or university. FERPA is a Family Education Rights and Privacy Act. FERPA is a federal law that protects the privacy of student education records. On college campuses, FERPA grants certain rights to the students once they turn 18 or attend a secondary institution. Now, here's some things that you should know. There's some key points, some key FERPA rights for the college students. Number one, access to records. Students have the right to inspect and review their education records at any time. I would say that there's a couple of people you can go to for this information. The advisor may not be this person because the FERPA normally is handled through admissions. It's handled probably with the assistance or the supervision of the registrar. So those are two key people that you will deal with. And in most cases, this is handled during the registration process. When you come when you go to an open house, or if you go to school the day to drop your child off, you will be um, offered, or you will be given the opportunity to read this information. And the student, if they are 18, the student has the rights, and I will go into that a little bit more. Amendment requests. Students can request corrections to inaccurate or misleading records as it relates to FERPA and grades and other things that they would deal with during this time while they're in school. And this goes for the entire 4 years or the time they're there. I don't think it's one that um, is done annually or per semester. Once it's signed by the parent, no, excuse me, once it's signed by the student, it is in place. Control over disclosure. Colleges cannot disclose personal identifiable information from the student records without consent, except in specific cases. And number 4, right to file complaints. Students can file complaints with the U.S. Department of Education if they believe their FERPA rights were violated. And let's talk about common FERPA considerations on a college campus. Parental access. Parental access. Unlike K through 12, parents do not have automatic access to student records unless the student grants written permission and written consent to the parent claims the student as a dependent on their taxes. Directory information. Colleges can release directory information such as the name of the student, such as the major for the student has decided to be in, and the student's email, unless the student opts out. Faculty and staff compliance. Faculty shall avoid publicly posting grades, discussing student records without consent, or sending information via unsecured methods. Health and safety. Exemptions. Schools may disclose records in case of health or safety emergencies. So let's go back. Um, what this means is when you bring your child to the college campus, somewhere in the process of registration, it could be at a open house, but I'm more familiar with it being on that day that you travel and plan to move in and get your key and all that stuff, ID. That's when it can also happen. So there are probably 2 situations that you may deal with. And it's going to be handled by a staff person either in the registrar's office or in admissions. And this gives this student the right to not have you call, visit the campus, or in any way to get information about that student if they're 18. I just spoke about some information. Mainly, I've seen it work with grades. If a student's not doing well and you haven't seen any grades, you ask them, they say everything's fine, but you as a parent, we just have this inert feeling. I mean, that's your child. You know when things aren't going well. You as a parent cannot call anyone on that campus. I don't care if it's a president. You can't call anybody and expect to get grades from that particular staff person. That information you'll have to get from your student. Now, if your child says, I want my parents to know exactly what's going on, so I'm going to sign this FERPA form, which will allow my parents to call and get this information. I've seen situations where parents call the advisor. Our job is to, if there is a FERPA, a signed FERPA form in place on file, we then can discuss this information. We can discuss grades. But if there's not, If your child says, I refuse to sign this form because I don't want my parents to know my business. Now, by federal law, this 18-year-old is an adult, and they have been given this right to either include and keep the parent informed um, if need be. Now, there's some situations where that can, if it's a health situation, then we got to deal with that. Then you may have maybe a counselor or the infirmary or the health center on campus involved with certain things. But one of the main things that I've dealt with as an advisor is discussion of grades, discussion of attendance, uh, even giving the name of the instructor. No, this is not high school anymore. You can't have a parent teacher conference. That does not happen. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. Yeah, there's some helicopter parents that I'm the parent. I can do this. I can do that. No, we're dealing with adults once they step on campus. And if this form is signed, we follow this to the T. That if they sign, they want you involved, they will sign their rights to include you. But if they do not, we're kind of restricted as to what we can do. We cannot discuss any parts of their education other than, yes, they're a student here, this is their email, that sort of thing. But when you call and you're trying to get from us information that you ain't getting from your child, unless they sign this FERPA, we cannot provide you with this information. I will post this at the bottom of this video so that you will know what FERPA is, because you will be asked about it. You will be given the opportunity to read it. But as far as signature, the only signature would be from the student who is now an adult, 18 years old. Now, if they go as a 17-year-old, you're pretty safe. You're pretty much um, okay. But if you're going to turn 18 in the near future, then this is when this can come in place, and the student will be asked, what is your pleasure? Do you want your parents to have access to grades and attendance records? Um, and that's up to them. But I wanted you to know this. I think I'm giving you a fair interpretation of this federal law. But read it for yourself. Be an informed parent. Make sure that you fully understand. And if I uh, didn't do it justice, and please do it yourself. You do justice for yourself to make sure that you fully understand. Again, this is called FERPA. It's a very important part of registration, a very important part of going to college. This is probably the first time, other than maybe getting a license or whatever, drinking, and that's a whole nother situation. But this is the first time as a parent you've dealt with your child as an adult, giving them rights and an opportunity to be an adult in regards to their grades and attendance records um, and that sort of information. So here again, from my perspective as an advisor and being a part of that process, yes, we've had many discussions, what we can and cannot do. And, you do it, you try not to be emotional, get your heart out of it, and stay with your head. But the head tells me that it's a federal law and that we cannot, give this information because the parent has not been in contact with the student. They have not seen any grades coming to the house. Uh, and maybe that's a discussion. You can go ahead and have that discussion with your child, and hopefully it'll change. But it is what it is as it relates to the FERPA. And again, I will post this so that you can get a look see and prepare for this moment when you arrive to campus or at open house situation where FERPA is discussed. And I would say before you have a discussion with your child, you're 18. What do you want us involved? Do you want us to know this information? Have a very candid, honest, and open discussion about it, and see um, what comes out. So sometimes I've seen situations where and it was really, really heart wrenching, where our arguments came. There were some very heated discussions, but that's part of going to college. They are growing up. And at this point, if they're 18, they are considered an adult. All right, guys, thank you very much. My next video, and yes, I'm on my way to take a little 30-minute walk. So I'm in my athletic wear, and I'm for real, Coach Ed. All right, guys, thank you so much. I'll have another video very, very soon, and I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day. Thanks.